That's about port mapping, which is very important, port mapping or port exposing, whatever you call it. And then we have something called backup of the containers, which is again a major concern in real time. Again, this is your EC2 instance. Okay, I'm running some container. Okay, I'm running some container here. So this is your container and it's running on, let's say I'm running some service and it is generating some logs in this folder and I want to refer this logs at a later point of time. But let's suppose after some time this container is crashed or gone or lost, right? If this is the case, and let's suppose, okay, now I want to access this, but I don't have the data, right? So how to have backup of this container data? How to have persistent storage of this is one use case. Another use case could be to share the data, means for data backup. One is backup of your data. Another one is, let's say I have generated some var file inside the container. I want to test it on the host. How to share the data from the host to container or container to the host, vice versa. How to do that? Okay, so backup and sharing the data. So how to do this? How can we have backup of the data? How can we see that data is stored somewhere? That's where comes the concept called volumes. Volumes are nothing but data directories which resides on the host. Actually speaking, they'll be in this default path. Docker's home directory. In this home directory, you have a directory called volumes. Here you may create a directory and map this one to some path inside the container. So even though the container is gone or lost or what may happen, you still see the data on the host. That's what is data persistency or persistent storage or data backup. And also you could share the data. So how is that possible? Let's see how to create a volume, how to map it and all. Again, we were learning the concept here. We'll use this in the different scenarios as a use case. First, let's look into the concept. Here, okay, let's get inside the container. Any existing volumes can be seen with the command docker volume ls, right? No container. So I'm sorry, no volume. I'm creating a volume. Docker volume create. I'm giving name as volume one. Okay. Now, if you see the ls, yes, you have some volume one. Now, I want to attach it. Minus IT or minus ITD, anything you can use. Volume flag, volume name, and I want to map it to logs of the container. So if I run this, what happens? If I run this, it will create a container from Ubuntu image. And if it will create a directory called logs here and share it with this path. Map it to here. Means whatever data content available in the logs can be seen on this folder and vice versa. That's how you have backup of it, right? So let's run this volume one, Ubuntu. So let us run this. So because I'm running in -IT mode, it will go to the, before that I might have shown you one more thing. Anyway, I'm just coming out by Control P, Control Q. I just want to show you one more thing. Where is this volume? Docker volume inspect volume 1. So if you go to var lib docker volumes volume 1, right? So but underscore data will be default directory created, and if you see here, there are no files, right? So that's how you can map it. Volume 1 should be mapped to logs, right? So but there is no file here. It's okay. Now let's get inside the container. Already container is created. So now I just want to go inside this docker attach 9a5. Okay, here there should be a folder created called logs. Do you see that? Because I have mapped it to this one. So if you go there, but even here also no files. Okay, let me create some file here. Touch inside the container, I'm creating it. I would like to add something like I'm from container. Okay, now this container is having some data. Come out of this. Do you see that on the host also in the data directory you have got this file? Understood? So even though the container is gone, you will see this data. That's called data persistency. But let me also create some file on the host so that you should see like it's like a data sharing. Like let's suppose I have some var file on my host. Okay, I want to test it inside the container. So maybe I could share the data this way. I kept it in the volume folder. Now let's go into the container. Docker attach logs folder. Do you see that file to appear here? Is this making sense? Like mount points in Linux if you are Linux person. Is this making sense? Sharing the data from the host to container and from container to the host. Is this clear for all? I'm coming out of this container. I will also delete this container, docker rm -f, force removing it if it is running. Of course, it's not running because I exited. Still the data is there. Do you see? That's what is data persistency. I don't have the container. It's gone. So if some services or something is running in the container and for some reasons it's lost, you still have the data, right? Is this clear for all?
Yes, Preeti.
Yes.
So this is data persistency and data storage, and you can attach this later on to any other container. Like I will say again, Docker run -IT just to check, go inside and check it. I can attach the same volume v flag, volume 1. Let's say this time new container, new directory I'm using, image. So from the Ubuntu, it will start a new container and it will attach this volume 1 to new log folder. New log should have all the files which are in volume 1. Do you see that? So this is what is data persistency, which is very important in real cases to have backup of the container data or to share some files. This is, we'll see those use cases. If this concept is clear, we'll see those use cases. And you have to
Could you
remember.
please repeat this one? How
Hmm.
this possible attach the file one, file two again? This is new.
Just start a new container by attaching the same volume. I started a new container with the same volume attached with this folder inside Ubuntu. Run will always create a new container. It created a new container 2D, and when I go there, new log folder is there. In that new log folder, I'll see this automatically.
Okay, because the volume one is already contain these two files.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So, if I can start another container 9166, it will have new log. If the folder is not there, it will create and you have got this. Okay. So I'm just coming out of it and I'll just clean up all the things, Docker system, prune, all. Okay. So now if you notice, always volume is present here, right? In the var lib Docker volumes. What if you want to map a random path? You can do that, -it or itd. And that random path you have to provide like /temp, whatever, just keep that folder, that path, and again path of the container. Command is same. But the difference is that's called bind mounts. Bind mounts are just managed by the file system on the server, but volumes are managed by Docker daemon. So volumes should be preferable, and also volumes help you to attach to multiple containers at the same time, and they can promise you data storage, data persistency. But bind mounts, in case if you need any time to map a random path, you can use, but volumes should be always preferable. And let's suppose I have created a container. Okay, let me give the name as, I'm giving name to my container this time, name as C1. I forgot to attach the volume. Okay, because I cleaned up everything, it has pulled and now I got it. Let's say I'm creating some file here, file3.txt. I'm writing something like I'm from C1. Okay, here is the file. Now I have got this file. Let's say now I want to copy this file onto my host, but I haven't attached the volume. How to do that? I just came out of it. Here it will not be there. Let's say I want to copy it, but I haven't used attach the volume. How can we achieve it? Docker copy, right? The container name. From this container, the path of the container, like it is in the root, right? File1.txt. And see, this is the source. First comes source, then the destination. Destination is same machine. I want to copy it under TMP folder. It says in container 1. I think
File
footnote.
3.
Sorry?
File 3 is there, right? In
Oh,
container C1.
oh, yeah, true. Thanks. So it's file 3. So from this file should be copied. That's why it's giving error saying that file 1 not there. But file 3 is present, so it says successfully copied to TMP. If you go to TMP, yes, you have got this file 3. Let's suppose now I want to copy vice versa also, like from host. Let's say I just want to copy this date.txt into C1, into the root, same as date.txt. This is also possible. Do you see that it has copied this file into container? Let's get inside the container. Start the C1. Attach to C1. Do you see date.txt copied? Right? That's the content of date.txt. But whatever it is, like, right? So that's how you can copy from container to the host or host to the container. If you haven't used volume, docker cp is the command. But which one is preferable? Which one we should use? What to use? What is the difference? Have you noticed any difference between volume and CP? Haven't you observed any difference? CP command is you have to copy the files explicitly, right? Whichever file you want to copy or folders, you have to mention them and copy explicitly. If you attach to the volume, whatever files are there will be automatically seen on the host machine and vice versa, right? So that is how it works. That's how we should do. So CP is like whenever if you need at any point of time quickly, you haven't used volume. If you want to just copy something, you may use it, but volumes are always preferable. So these are the three types we have discussed. Volumes, which are to be used, preferred, like which helps in persistent storage for multiple containers as well. And then bind mounts. Bind mounts are very rare. Like I said, any random path you can. And then Docker CP command. These are all the ways you have to share the data, but always volumes are preferred. Haven't used these two at all. This is very rare at times. Third one is not at all. But still, for your testing, for your development, if you just want to copy some files, definitely this is helpful.